through the hands of the backup tight end, Todd Yoder. It's incomplete. Well, Campbell is the latest quarterback since Dan Snyder bought the Redskins in '99. Brad Johnson was there for 27, and Jeff
that
George.
didn't work.
No, Tony Banks.
That didn't work.
Shane Matthews in the Spurrier era, right? Patrick Ramsey, and then certainly a Spurrier guy, and Danny Werfel.
Sarah, that was bad.
Tim Hasselbeck did not
wife.
Mark Brunell.
Hot wife.
And now Jason Campbell.
Campbell looks like a guy who could stick. I mean, he's made great throws tonight, Jaws. That's a lot of quarterbacks. It sounded like you were ill there. You were ailing when you saw that list.
He's got a 3rd and 11 here against a 4-man rush. Throws underneath, shy of the first down. Omar Gaither makes the tackle on Portis. From here, the field goal is 35. And for those people who don't watch daytime network
she's on the
TV,
View. Elizabeth Hasselbeck.
Well, I don't think a lot of our viewers view the View.
Oh, well, I just figured with the Rosie stuff and the Whoopi stuff and the Barbara Walters stuff, they would have by now.
Tony, you must have a lot of free time.
Elizabeth Hasselbeck is worth a turn of the dial, wouldn't you say?
Sean Sweezer.
Oh, don't get no answer. I'm left hanging on that?
Yes.
Okay.
Back to the action. A 35-yarder. At the end of the first quarter. Out of the hold of Derek Frost, the final play of the quarter is a 35-yard field goal. Tony now break down Whoopi and Barbara. Now everybody's working on the View during the break. After 3-0 Washington.
NASN Trivia Timeout. What is the oldest pro football team in terms of continuous operation? Stay tuned. The answer is coming up.
Just because you're thousands of miles from the nearest big league stadium doesn't mean you can't be a big league fan. Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
Yeah!
Second quarter here in Philadelphia with Ron Jaworski, Tony Kornheiser, Michelle Tafoya, and Susie Culver. Mike Tirico, 3-0. The Redskins lead. Sean Sweezum, who kicked the game-winning field goal to close business against Miami in D.C. last week. Caps a quarter where the Redskins had the ball for almost 10.5 minutes, and Philadelphia couldn't get any sustained offense.
Tony, that is Redskin football.
Sure.
You know, if you look at that first quarter, 10 runs, 9 passes. When you know Joe Gibbs' profile, his template for success back when he won those 3 Super Bowls. Control the football, control the clock, keep the other team's offense
But he also
sitting on
let
the
his
bench.
quarterback take some deep shots downfield to keep everybody honest, and he hit one of them.
You got to take your shots. If you allow corners, get in bump and run, you're making a mistake if you just let him take it away.
Sweezum's kick fielded a short one. Darrell Buckhalter from the 10. He squeezes through a tackle and gets just past the 30-yard line. LaRon Landry, the first-round pick, made the tackle. He'll stay on the field to try to defend Donovan McNabb in Philly when we come back.
Play for fun, play for real in our online casino.
In 2005, a record crowd of over 103,000 packed Mexico City's Estadio Azteca to witness the NFL's first regular season game outside the United States.
Tiene el bote, McCown, alcanza a lanzar, pase completo a la 2. Touchdown! Anquan Boldin!
Anquan Boldin's touchdown helped the Cardinals defeat the 49ers 31-14.
One of the big stories the first 2 weeks is what's going on with the Saints. Reggie Bush, Drew Brees, can they get going? Vince Young in Tennessee played very well if you watch that game against Indianapolis. We'll see the Titans and the Saints, the home opener for the Saints, almost a year to the day after the Dome reopened so emotionally last year. See you for Monday Night Football next week from Louisiana. McNabb and the Eagles taking over from the 31. Donovan's pass to L.J. Smith. The tight end has been bothered by a groin injury, a gain of about 6 yards. Well, Donovan McNabb running Andy Reid's offense. Andy Reid's story this offseason was one that included off the field. He had to take a 5-week leave of absence to be around his family and change that coach role and that coach hat to the dad hat. His two sons, Garrett and Britt, both in serious legal trouble. Garrett 24, Britt 22. Weapons, drug charges, auto accidents among the things that happened, and Britt getting in trouble again just a couple of weeks ago, and he's currently incarcerated and in jail. So a very difficult time for Andy Reid away from football as McNabb throws incomplete. A high, hard shot taken by Brown and administered by Sean Taylor. And guys, that's been the question for so many people around Philadelphia. This is a very difficult time in family for Andy Reid.
No question about it. Andy Reid, you know, and the coaching profession takes a lot out of you. You know, you have to devote a lot of time to it. And all of a sudden, you know, you could be in a meeting and you're thinking about your family, your kids are in trouble. Very, very difficult for Andy Reid. But, you know, we talked to some of the players, and they haven't seen that in him, but I can imagine how difficult it must be on him, on Tammy, you know, to carry this burden right now.
His wife, who you mentioned, 3rd and 4 against a 4-man rush. McNabb trying to keep a drive alive here. Able to do so. Spectacular grab by Jason Avant, the second-year man out of Michigan, who had 3 big catches in the game at Green Bay last week. First down.
Excellent job by McNabb here. You see the rush coming on the inside from Marcus Washington. Donovan gets to the outside, and on the move, Tony makes a nice throw for the first down.
Very nice.
So at the 45-yard line.
I never said he couldn't move, Jaws. I said he was reluctant.
I just want you to be aware of that.
Okay.
Thomas Toupé, the fullback, dotting the I. Westbrook through the hole in the middle for 14 yards and a first down before Sean Springs brings him down. You know, part of the Andy Reid thing, it's so uncomfortable. It's the most private stuff, but it is public because of who you are and what you do, which is unfair, but it's reality.
These are real-life problems, real-life intrusions, and when we look at football players and baseball players and coaches and politicians, you think, oh, they only exist to do this one job, and real life doesn't intrude upon them. Well, it does intrude, and it is obviously intruded upon Andy Reid, and you wonder, Jaws, as you said, how can he give fully to being a coach with all this out there?
Every single day, a little piece is taken away from him. That begins to take its toll.
Westbrook, good run, stays on his feet, and Westbrook into the secondary. Gain of 27, first down at the 13-yard line. Best drive of the night for Philly. .42 yards on back-to-back runs by Westbrook.
Nice job by Brian Westbrook. I'll tell you, he's got quickness. As you can see, Landry misses on the tackle.
Watch this move.
Right there. Woo.
Wow. Through the arm tackle of Demetric Evans, who's starting for the injured Philip Daniels, out with a sprained right foot. Daniels inactive. With the electricity of Westbrook, bringing the Eagles into the red zone for the first time. It's time to the 10. Carell Buckhalter the carry. Here's Susie Colbert.
Well, more on Andy. And team president Joe Banner points to his strength, his character, and leadership on why he's been able to handle this. And from his perspective, Andy hasn't missed a beat in terms of his responsibilities with the team, although he has observed that maybe he's more willing to delegate responsibility, more trusting of his offense and defensive coordinator. But he said Andy seems to have a renewed commitment, a new energy and appreciation for the positive things in his life. You know, just like the players who deal with adversity and the game is their solace, it seems to be the case with Andy. But Joe said you can tell he just cherishes being with the people he loves at home and at work.
So many of the players echoed that as we visited with them during the week, Suze. 2nd and 7. McNabb throwing. It's caught on a knee by Hank Baskett, one of the 5 receivers the Eagles use. Gain of 4 in front of Carlos Rogers.
One of the things I want to say about this, and Jaws, we've talked about this. We have children the same age as Andy Reid's children. And your heart goes out to him as a father as well. Because, I mean, you and I both feel the same way. Every night you say, where are my kids? Are my kids safe? And people can look at Andy Reid and realize, hey, this, you're there, but for the grace of God, go all of us.
And it could happen to anyone, as you alluded to a moment ago.
Sure.
You count your blessings.
And the football community is really pulling for Andy and his family, and things go as well as possible. 3rd and 4. First down awaits at the 3. Pressure picked up, and McNabb's hot shot is too high. It incomplete for Reggie Brown, so the Eagles will attempt a field goal.
That's a throw Donovan has to squeeze in there. He had the man-to-man coverage. That's a ball you got to put right on the belt buckle, force the defensive back to go through the wide receiver. That one got high and away for Donovan.
So David Akers will come in.
He's got to be 100 years old now.
Who, Akers? No, it's only his 9th year in the league at Louisville.
All?
Yeah.
100?
Must have him confused with George Bland again.
Who turned 80, by the way.
Today.
Such good information from you guys. Morton Anderson is back in the league. Morton Anderson signed in Atlanta.
Is that,
yeah.
Really?
Today, yeah.
Oh.
Hi, I'm Dan Ugly with the Florida Marlins, and you're watching NASN, Europe's channel for North American sports.
Pepper. With 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper, there's more to it.
See those parking lots, bottom of your screen at Lincoln Financial Field? There were people in them at about 2 o'clock this afternoon. And they've been waiting 9 months for the opener here in Philadelphia.
Incredibly passionate people. There's a, look at that big eagle back there. Wow. Scary.
Putting the pressure on Rock Cartwright. That was a funny shot. Cartwright from the 6. You can't elude the human Eagles, and he's brought down at the 30-yard line by Hank Baskett, the backup receiver. But Portis, the Redskin offense on the field, all square at 3.
Live MLB continues on NASN with an exclusive American League matchup. The Tigers have been chasing the Indians all August and are trying to gather momentum leading into the pennant race. But the Tribe's bats are just heating up. Live MLB, Detroit versus Cleveland this Monday, only on NASN.
Team putting a field goal on the board. Best drives of the night. Washington at the end of the first. Philadelphia at the start of the second. All tied at 3 here in the city of brotherly love. And Jason Campbell will lead out this Redskin attack.
There you go, Tony. Bunch of tight ends and fullbacks in there. Only 1 wide receiver. Now you happy?
Toss left to Portis. No gain. They're running out of big bodies, though. Michelle Tafoya.
Yeah, right guard, starting right guard, Randy Thomas now out with a torn tricep, Mike, and this is a real hit to the Redskins offensive line. Last week they lost their starting right tackle, John Jansen, for the season, so that right side of the line really banged up. Chris Samuels told me before the game he feels like the communication is coming together on the line, but now Jason Fabini's in there, so another new face on that line, Mike.
Wow, Thomas, who had a very similar injury to Jansen back in 2005. The other starter on the right side, losing one a week here. Campbell's second down. Intercepted. A huge hit, but held on to by William James, who was beaten earlier on the Santana Moss catch. Clinton Portis popped him, but the former Will Peterson hangs on for the interception.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Jason Campbell was late with this throw. You'll see him in the pocket here, coming off the play action to Clinton Portis. Right now, the ball has to be out. He doesn't see it. He's late with the throw. William James is able to drive the throw and make the interception. You'll see the jam at the line of scrimmage. Now he's going to undercut because he has help over the top. Real good job by James driving underneath, but he was late with the throw.
Isn't that symptomatic of young quarterbacks most of the time? Because they're unsure and they're reluctant to let it go before the guy is actually cleared and open, right?
And in defense of Jason, there was some pressure in his face, but if you don't see it, don't throw it.
For James, his first interception since 04. McNabb, first down. Underneath throw. Complete to L.J. Smith. The tight end gets 6 yards. Here's Trey Wingo with a SportsCenter 30 at 30 update. Trey.
All right, Mike, thanks very much. Chris Mortensen reporting that the Falcons are meeting with quarterback Byron Leftwich right now, trying to decide whether or not to sign the former Jag. They have brought back veteran kicker Morton Anderson, who, of course, began his NFL career in the Cretaceous period. And Titans and Jeff Fisher agree on a 4-year contract extension. Keeps him there through 2011. SportsCenter after the game. ESPN News always on. Michael.
Good stuff, Trey. We'll see Jeff Fisher and the Titans next week. Morton Anderson is 47, turned 47 in August. About a yard for Westbrook as they drive the left side. Cornelius Griffin over there on the tackle, former Giant, 4 years now with the Redskins. And Westbrook, can he be the 20 to 25 carry back? He was used in that third down role, out of the backfield role. Until last year, he became the guy and carried that load quite well.
Mike, he became the guy late in the season when he was a little bit fresher. I'm not sure over a 16-game schedule he can touch it 25 times a game. Down the stretch, give it to him.
Because he's so dangerous in this spot, 3rd and 3. Nabs throws a first down to the 25-yard line. Brown will get forward progress in those hogtied by Springs and Taylor. They'll move the chains and down to Susie.
Well, Mike, Brian Westbrook does so much in this offense, I wondered how he handles it. So he said he spent all last night, all day today, just reviewing, going over every position that he lines up in. There's a lot of multiple options. He said he's a part of about 70% of them. Then after reviewing, he said the key is just to be himself. And physically, he bought himself one of those hyperbaric chambers last season. Says it's really helped. Andy also goes easier on him in practice.
He's one of the 7 different receivers to catch a McNabb pass tonight, Suze. That one through the hands of L.J. Smith, the tight end, incomplete. 2nd and 10 with Sean Springs and Marcus Washington covering. Another guy buying a hyperbaric chamber to sleep in. It's obviously having results for a lot of guys in terms of body recovery after playing for the week.
Remember last year, Darren Sharper was early on in Barnett, and T.O. bought one too, didn't he? And then did sit-ups in it, I think, on the driveway.
You know, if you taped an aspirin to one of these guys' foreheads, they would think it helped.
2nd and 10, a quick shot is caught, but a good job by Rocky McIntosh, the second-year linebacker out of Miami, to bring down Greg Lewis. Fans frustrated by that. It's a quick short pass, and very often it's the pass before the run for Philadelphia under Andy Reid's 9 years here. Look at the run-pass mix. Highest among coaches in NFL history who have been doing it for 100 games. Essentially, it's a 6-to-4 or 3-to-2 ratio pass to run, and tonight it's beyond that. Play 24 should be past 17. It's too high from McNabb and incomplete. We've seen Donovan miss high a couple of times here in this 2nd quarter. Field goal coming.
Yeah, Hank Baskett, 6'4", and going up pretty high, and Donovan once again A little wild high in this game. You know, sometimes you got to take a little bit off these throws. You can see he lost the ball there. It flutters out of his hand. Not an accurate throw. Got man-to-man coverage once again. You're going to have to make those anticipation stick throws into tight windows. Anticipation being the key.
It's now Akers, who made his NFL debut and kicked one game with the Redskins in '98. From 39. Able to get it through and give Philadelphia the lead halfway through the second quarter. They could have had touchdowns. McNabb didn't hit that one.
NASN is the place to be for an unbelievable schedule of NFL games. The modern-day gladiators battle and let it all out on the field in the quest for victory. And NASN will be there each and every week of the schedule to bring you the top games. This Sunday, it's a live doubleheader when the San Diego Chargers take on the Green Bay Packers and the Cincinnati Bengals battle the Seattle Seahawks. Coverage begins with Sunday NFL Countdown. Live this Sunday, the NFL on NASN.
Bob and McNabb have been together all 9 seasons. Andy looking for win 81. Conversation there with Reggie Brown, the other receivers. The interception by William James setting up the field goal in Philadelphia, leading Washington 6-3 in this NFC East. First of 2 meetings between these teams.
The interception that Jason Campbell threw was very reminiscent of the interception he threw last week against Miami.
First drive of the game.
Down a receiver.
Yes, you're right, Ron. You're right. Rock Cartwright returns the kickoff from the 7. They're covered by the Eagles, the 25-yard line. Nick Graham, Quentin Michael over there for the tackle. We'll see if Campbell bounces back from the pick after this.
Watch all the top teams playing in the biggest games in the best North American sports leagues all year round, only on NASN. See the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup Finals, college football's Bowl Championship Series, March Madness, the Arena Bowl, the Grey Cup, and the NASCAR Busch Series. Plus, enjoy a packed schedule of regular season action, playoff games, and leading sports programming. NASN is your home for North American sports. Log on to NASN.com for information.
There's 2 sides to Terrell Owens. T.O. the player and T.O. the personality. Like him or not, the receiver is the star among stars in Dallas.
Romo has all day, deep to the left. Owens open, caught it, touchdown!
At 6'3" and 220 pounds, Owens is a prime target over the middle and in the end zone, leading the NFL in touchdown catches last season.
Campbell respond after throwing that interception, and I talked to 2 of his former coaches, his dad and Auburn's Tommy Tuberville. They both told me one of Campbell's strengths is he has a short memory when it comes to mistakes, and Jason actually told me, I learned early if you make a bad play, you can make the situation worse by getting mad about it. My team's going to need me to make plays later on. So, Mike, let's see if he lives by that tonight.
We'll have a chance to think about it for another couple of seconds on this ensuing drive as a timeout has been taken before this 3rd. And now a full yard. Be right back.
Atlanta, Fulton County Stadium. 21-year-old Barry Bond.
Deep to right field. This one is on its way to McCovey Cove. Number 500. It's into the water. Bonds hits one. It's number 73.
Bonds drives one. 7-14, and he is now tied with the Babe.
Swinging a high fly ball left field. There's number 755. Bassix 3-2 again. This is swinging a hot fly ball right center field. Is gone. Number 756. Barry Bonds stands alone.
Watch history in the making on NASN.
Football Week starts on Thursday night. The Aggies of A&M, number 20, go to the Orange Bowl to take on the Canes, where they have a sophomore running back, Jarvis James, who's opening eyes. Miami and undefeated Texas A&M. Thursday night, of course, a former Cane running back in Clinton Portis. He was there when Frank Gore and Willis McGahee and Najee Davenport were in the same backfield at 0-1. That is a depth chart. 3rd and a yard. Right back to the fullback and pounded forward by Mike Sellers for the first down. Sellers, who was in Washington, was in Cleveland for a stretch, went to the CFL where he played for Edmonton and Winnipeg, went to NFL Europe. Here's a guy who bounced around and has finally found, and bounced around positions too. Special teams, messed around even at linebacker for a stretch, but a huge presence as a blocker for Washington.
When he got cut, he didn't know what to hand in, his playbook or his passport, if he was in that many places, right?
Campbell has shown ability to get down the field with the deep ball very well. Let's see what they do from the 36. Keep it on the ground. Portis stretched out and chased out by Considine. But the first pressure from Sheldon Brown forced that play wide. He gets the credit, and it'll be 2nd down.
Sheldon Brown is an excellent tackler. He's the one that forced that the run by Portis to the outside.
And injured Eagle, as the action came to the sideline to make that play. And it is Sean Considine, who was the last man over, the starting strong safety, who was injured the last half of his rookie season with a shoulder injury. They're in the starting role in 06 and played well. He'd been battling a sprained knee coming into this week. So as they look at Considine, we'll step out for a moment.
In 2006, the Chicago Bears returned to the top of the NFC for the first time in 21 years. Fans in Chicago heard echoes of the monsters of the Midway from years past. The Bears steamrolled their way to Super Bowl 41 on the shoulders of a powerful running game and the stingiest defense in the NFC.
Bear fans, your dream is reality. Begin the migration to Miami.
Here, Philadelphia leading 6-3. Quentin Michael on the field to replace Sean Considine, who walked off under his own power. There's Considine, middle of the field, coming to tackle Clinton Portis, and hits hard over there, not just on his leg, but also as they were pulling the down marker out. And that right knee that we mentioned was sprained. He comes up feeling the pain. So out of Boise State, Quentin Michael steps onto the field in the safety spot for 2nd and 9. 2nd and 9, everybody tight. No receivers split out. Campbell chased down and brought down by Jaquay Thomas, coming off a 6-sack season last year. The former Tennessee Titan now in his 3rd season as an Eagle.
The Eagles have an excellent rotation in their defensive line. Jaquay Thomas probably could be a starter. He is that good coming off the edge. But the Eagles like to rotate 6, 7, even 8 defensive linemen.
Clinton Portis was like a dive into a pool to try to block him, and he missed.
That's not good.
No. 3rd and 11, this Eagle defense looks like the Eagle defense we've been used to over the last couple of seasons. Not the one that struggled at the end of last year. Randall L., the catch, made 2 men miss, squirts forward, but a yard shy of the first down. He knows it, had a chance to get there. Joselio Hansen, really nice job of tracking him down after Randall L.'s first catch.
Well, you are right, Mike, because when you get Randall L. in space, this is guys like a punt returner. He can make people miss. Joselio Hansen does a terrific job in the open field, holding Randall L. about a yard short of that first down.
So Reno Mahe will go back to receive.
Maybe he'll make forward progress on this one. He's let one go and doesn't run with him at all.
Almost getting to the Frost punt. Mahe will let it go. And a great job by a veteran punt returner. He knew that he could legally block James Thrash to prevent downing it inside the 5. And the touchback, those hidden yards on a 55-yard punt that nets 35. Well, Joe Gibbs and Marty Schottenheimer and Steve Spurrier reaches back. Daniel Snyder reaches back to get those 2 guys. Now Joe Gibbs is the head coach. And Tony, it's been really about get the big names and bring them in.
He has built the team as if it were a fantasy league team. It's been a quick fix mentality. It hasn't worked. I mean, it's not so much as building a team as trying to buy a team. This is the first time he's had stability with a coach. Joe Gibbs now in his 4th year. Schottenheimer 1, Turner 1.5, Wright, Spurrier 2. Gibbs has been here for a while. Brings in assistant coaches, brings in big names. It has not worked in Washington.
McNabb taking over from the 20. Out of the pocket and running. Slides down for 3 to the 23. You saw the free agency impact. Guys who had big names have come in and not performed at that Pro Bowl level. What about the
There's
draft?
been a bunch of those. Bruce Smith and Jeff George and Dana Stubblefield and Jeremiah Trotter. He's got the lowest amount of draft picks since 2000. He's also got the oldest roster. And that's because he's bringing in all of these veterans, and they're not staying around for any great length of time. They're 59 and 69 since Dan Snyder took over in 1999.
From the 24, Westbrook able to get around the edge and a first down. Redskin bench wanted a holding flag called, but it was not thrown, and Westbrook gets a dozen yards and moves the chain.
So the question becomes with the Redskins, when is it going to work? They've had 2 playoff seasons in the Dan Snyder era, but you can go back to 1992. They've had 2 playoff seasons, Jaws, since 1992. And in the 80s and early 90s, the first time around with Gibbs, they were a dynasty much the way that San Francisco was, right?
And what will happen with this football team with those few draft choices after Joe Gibbs leaves? That's when I think you have major problems.
Well, their defense has been on the field the majority of this second quarter. Different from the first quarter. Westbrook carries to the 40-yard line as we get to the 2-minute warning, and Tony gets set to join Mike Wilbon on PTI at the half.
Yes, but first I'm going to videotape the defensive signals for the Redskins.
I was waiting for that. 2-minute warning.
Wilson baseball gloves and much more. Visit NASN.com.
Hi, I'm Alex Rodriguez from the New York Yankees. Watch live Major League Baseball all season long right here on NASN, Europe's leading baseball channel for North American sports.
Halftime show comes up with Chris Berman and Stuart Scott. Stu here in Philadelphia. We'll have the fastest 3 minutes ahead. Pardon the interruption at halftime as well. Talk about the cheating scandal in the NFL, among other topics. The Reaction to the Patriots issue. McNabb throw behind Kevin Curtis. And incomplete, and Donovan McNabb, again, 10 months removed from a knee injury. Rehab, hard rehab all season. Didn't play a full load in the preseason.